So the Minnesota Lynx just got a lot better. They just got Grace Berger. And Grace Berger, obviously, the backup should have been the backup to Caitlin Clark. She was projected to be the backup to Caitlin Clark. Clearly, she didn't fit the timeline. Somehow, a 25-year-old did not fit the timeline of a 22-year-old. But the timeline is we want to win while Caitlin and Aaliyah are on rookie contracts. And unfortunately, that did not fit the timeline for that. And they were able to waive Grace Berger. I don't think that would have been their first choice. I think they would have traded Christy Wallace, but I think she's near untradeable without attaching enough assets to her. And obviously, Katie Lou Samuelson's untradeable. But Grace Berger has been signed by maybe the best team in the WNBA. Which, again, the fact that she was claimed off the waiver straight away by the Lynx shows how good of a prospect she is. And if you guys agree that kind of sad to see her leave, subscribe. We're trying to hit 20 or 43,100 by the end of the day. If we could do that, that'd be absolutely insane. But we got to talk about it. So the Minnesota Lynx have a really solid team this year. And they finally have like a true point guard. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Natisha Heidemann is not a point guard. She is a spark plug scorer. And she was so garbage in the finals. She was good in getting the game 1 win. After that, she was so garbage. Game 3 was one of the worst performances I've seen from her. And she scored almost as many points in game 1 as she did the rest of the finals. Courtney Williams, they struggled. They really struggled when she was off the floor. Towards the end of the finals, she struggled again. 2 of 14 in game 5 was not good. But now getting Grace Berger is a big one. And I understand you can just purely look at the points and say, she only averaged 2.8 points a game. She hardly played. She hardly played last year, but she is a 6'1", good passing point guard who will fit Cheryl Reeve's system to a freaking T. Like, she is going to be so good in Cheryl Reeve's system. Kind of annoyed should be Christy Wallace. She's on a guaranteed money. Lynn Dunn stuck us with Katie Lou Maxton, Wallace guaranteed money. Yep. Like, that is Lynn Dunn. That is a Lynn Dunn issue. Like, any issues with the Fever... Any issues the Fever have today have been caused by Lynn Dunn. Like, I made a whole video on this. Lynn Dunn is the worst GM in the history of basketball. Like, these are the decisions Lynn Dunn made after taking over. Like, I'm pretty sure she was there when they cut Alana Smith. Then, her first real offseason, she went and waived all rookie team Queen Egbo. And then after waiving Queen Egbo, she waived Emily Enksler after her rookie year. She drafted her 4th, waived her after her rookie year, only for Enksler to become one of the most undervalued players in the WNBA as a 3-and-D positionally versatile player. And then obviously drafted Leah Boston. No brainer. There was nobody else. Nobody else that they could have taken. Other than Leah. Like, imagine they took Diamond Miller instead. And then they were garbage. They gave Erica Wheeler a max. And they were garbage next year. Got Caitlin Clark. And after knowing they had the pick for Caitlin Clark, gave Katie Lou Samuelson a max. Lynn Dunn was just looking and she was like, oh, you know what I want? You know what I want? And by the way, before that, she got hired Christy Sides as head coach. And as much as Christy Sides was not horrifically awful, in fairness, over the 2 years, she was just a bad coach in general. But the thing with Christy Sides is Christy Sides didn't even want the job, and she basically forced Christy Sides to take the job. She had to convince Christy Sides to take the job. And then she saw Caitlin Clark at Iowa succeeding with Stulke, succeeding with as the one beside Kate Martin of Fulter with athletic high motor cutters. She saw how well Iowa played. She saw Iowa's team, how well they played in a fast-paced system. So she decided that, Caitlin, it's best to have a shooting guard. It's best that Caitlin's a shooting guard, and we're going to play her like such, even though she never played shooting guard 1 minute for Iowa. And also, that instead of getting a high-motor free agent, we're going to give Katie Lou Samuelson a max coming off pregnancy and sign Damaris Dantas. I don't even hate Dantas as a player, but, just fit-wise, what? So our free agency... we're going to sign the slowest small forward in the league and the slowest player in the league, who is currently injured. That was their free agency decisions. And then they draft Celeste Taylor, a good choice in the second round. And then they cut Celeste Taylor. That's what they've done. And now, in fairness, I understand the Grace Berger one a little bit more. I don't like it. I don't like the cook Grace Berger. I think this might be a mistake. I think this might go down as a mistake. You see here, she played for the Hoosiers from 18 to 23, was claimed off the waivers by the Minnesota Lynx on Friday. She'll get a fresh start with the Lynx, who were coached by 4-time WNBA Coach of the Year Cheryl Reeve, a one-time head coach at Indiana State from 1995 to 2000. She'll be joining one of the WNBA's best teams. Courtney Williams, 5.5 assists per game, and is an established distributor for the Lynx. She'll be compete behind Courtney Williams. And I think the big difference between Grace Berger and Courtney Williams is Grace Berger's a point guard. Courtney Williams is a shooting guard who is actually a good passer at the pick and roll. She does not really set up the offense. She looks for hers. And in fairness to Grace Berger, she's a ridiculous mid-range shooter too. But Courtney Williams looks for hers. That is what Courtney Williams will do. Whereas if they now want a true point guard, you've got a true point guard. I actually do think by the end of this year, we will be seeing Courtney Williams playing, starting at the 1. They're going to keep the same starting 5 as last year. But I think we're going to see a lot of Grace at the 1, Courtney at the 2. And I think by the end of the year, Grace Berger will be playing more minutes than Atisha Heidemann. That's just my theory. I think she'll be playing more minutes than Heidemann in this squad. Even though they're paying Heidemann $135K a year, she's an unrivaled player. I think that by the end of this season, Grace Berger is going to break into that rotation and be playing more than Heidemann. And that's not a knock on Heidemann. I think she's good. I just think she's an iffy defender. I think she blows hot and cold. She can be really good one game. She can be really bad the next. I just think Grace Berger being 6'1", like if you're able to run a lineup of Grace Berger, Kayla McBride, who can switch on to bigs, like Diamond Miller, or even to get one Bridget Carlton, like hypothetically, you can run a Grace Berger, Kayla McBride, Diamond Miller, Nafisa Collier, and Alana Smith lineup. And it's like, switch everything. You put Grace Berger in whoever the worst player is, but you switch everything. And that could be so hard to deal with. The size, the versatility of that team, the ability to pass the team. Like they don't have a Caitlin Clark level passer, but they've got a good system and they've got a whole bunch of decent passers that are on an unselfish team that are gunning for a championship. Like if they get MMS on, they are the favorites. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think you can consider them to be maybe with Badian. You can consider them maybe favorites right now to win the whole thing. But I think that's a maybe for the Lynx. But I do think we will potentially be seeing a playoff matchup of Grace Berger versus the Fever, and Grace Berger getting good minutes elsewhere, which would be very interesting. And for her, I hope she does well. Just hope it's not beating the Fever. Anyway, I'll see you guys.